My name is Partha Sarthi Sen Sharma. I am an IAS officer of 1994 batch of Uttar Pradesh cadre and right now posted as Principal Secretary Medical Health and Family Welfare in Government of Uttar Pradesh. I am situated in Lucknow. It was long ago when I started preparing for the civil service examination. I was at that time studying in my engineering college, Delhi College of Engineering, which is now Delhi Technical University, and I was located in Delhi. I had no family background. There was nobody in my family from the IAS or any civil services. So it was basically a combination of two factors: a desire to make things better in the public sphere, as well as some sort of maybe in hindsight, some sort of a fetish with the celebrities at that time who used to clear the exams. Their photos used to come out in those days in magazines like CSR and Civil Services Chronicle. But at the end of the day, it was more, I think, a desire to make things better in the public sphere. So I was studying in engineering college, but I didn't have the guts or the risk-taking capacity to do only preparation. So just after I passed out from engineering in 1991, I got from campus recruitment many jobs and I decided to join the Tatas. So I went to Jamshedpur and I was working with Tata Motors. At that time it was called Telco. So in Telco Jamshedpur, I worked from 91 to 94, first as a graduate engineer trainee and then an engineer. At that time, I was preparing for the civil service examination simultaneously. In the first attempt, I could clear the prelims, but I could not clear the mains. It was very disappointing and I was really disappointed. But I then carried on, started preparing for the second time. I worked hard, yes, and it was very difficult because I was also doing a full-fledged job at the same time. So my working life used to start at 7 o'clock in the factory. I used to come back by 5:30 and then study from 6 to 10 or whatever, 11. And I had a one-day weekend. So it was difficult. Probably I think I got lucky and I cleared in the second attempt. I got a rank of 40. Cleared, went into the Mussoorie Academy and got allotted Uttar Pradesh cadre by chance, and I'm very happy that I got the service and got the cadre that I got, and it has been a good journey since then. In fact, agar aap dekhen to in my novel of Lucknow Diaries, there is one of the characters is an IAS officer, and he actually enters the Mussoorie Academy as you are describing, which was based on my experience. उस ज़माने में there was no mobile phones, so the result was conveyed to me through a friend of mine, father of a friend of mine, who got it passed through the official channels, and somebody came, actually a messenger came to my hostel in Jamshedpur and announced that I have cleared the civil service exam and my rank is 40. So that was the way it was conveyed to me. So I then obviously resigned from the Tatas, came back to my home in Delhi. I still remember in our foundation course, the director was Mr. Ranjan Devedi, who was then the deputy director in the Mussoorie Academy. Later, we had a long association because he was an IPS officer from UP cadre, and over the years I have been in contact. I am still in contact with him. So he wrote the letter to all our probationers in our homes, giving a brochure of the academy. I still remember the photograph of the brochure, the Karmshila building, which is the main building of the academy in those days. That was in the cover page. And it was a welcome letter asking us to join the academy. I still remember 4th September 1994, I joined the academy. And those were the days when the Uttaranchal movement was at its peak. So Mussoorie was under curfew. And we were finding it very difficult how to reach Mussoorie. And a bus was arranged. Some of the probationers got together who knew each other. I didn't know anybody. I was studying in Jamshedpur. So somebody got in touch with me and the bus started from Connaught Place, Delhi, and went to Mussoorie directly. It was a curfew in Mussoorie. We reached 4:30 to 5 in the morning after an overnight journey. I still remember when we entered the gate of the academy, and a lot of people on this bus I'm still friends with, because they are not only my batchmates, they have been my friends for over the years. So I distinctly remember all those people who were in that bus on that night of 3rd and 4th September 1994, and many of them are very, very dear friends even now. Anybody who is entering into the civil service is taking some sort of a risk while preparing, because even with all full preparations, nobody can be sure that he will get into the IAS. At least I was not sure. So that is why when I had a good job with the Tatas, I kept working with it, and then preparing simultaneously. But many people do not do that. They leave the job, sit at home and do that. It is different for different people. I would not say that which is right and which is wrong. I, for myself, decided that probably it is too risky to leave a well-settled job and then sit in home and prepare. I wanted to keep the job in hand. I got lucky. So then when I got into the civil service, I left Tata's, not before that. In the days that we used to prepare, we used to have 2 subjects. I understand today it is 1 subject. So we had to take 2 subjects. I was a professional mechanical engineer. I studied mechanical engineering from Delhi College of Engineering. So I decided to keep mechanical engineering as one of the subjects. It is rather unorthodox because you will find very few people having mechanical engineering as their subject, because it is a vast course, or at least it was at that point of time. But I thought that that I will not be able to justify myself if I do not take the subject in which I spent 4 years of my college. So I kept mechanical engineering as one subject. I was a decent student in engineering also. And the second subject I took was history, which is again a very unorthodox combination of mechanical engineering and history. History I chose because, number one, it covers a lot of general studies automatically. If you take history as a subject, a lot of general studies is covered automatically. Secondly, was a very personal reason. I love reading history. I still read a lot of history. But history was a subject which would not have given me a job probably as surely as engineering. Therefore, I had not taken history in my graduation, but I loved reading history. So I kept history as the second subject. And also because, personally speaking, I used to be so tired in my job after 10 or 11. I wanted a subject in which I could read with interest without sitting on a writing table and chair. I was preparing the exam along with a full-time job. So my strategy and my tactics is based on those circumstances in which I was working. Many people do not do that. They do a coaching maybe or do a full-time study. My tactics was based on the fact that I was having a full-time job and I used to have very limited time. So that was also one of the reasons why I could not clear in the first attempt, because I just could not finish the syllabus. The syllabus of these 2 subjects was so vast that by the time the exam dates came, I had just not finished the syllabus. So for me, that was the reason, I think, primarily why I could not clear in the first attempt. In the second attempt, I just continued covering the syllabus, which I had not been able to cover earlier. In my preparation, I would say, apart from the wide reading that you need to do, anybody needs to do, especially in general studies and humanities subjects, it is important to think from your own mind apart from what you have read. So that is most important, and to then reach conclusions which you are able to justify through a logical exposition. आप कैसे अपने बात को तर्क से समझा सकते हैं जिस कंक्लूजन में आप पहुंचे हैं. क्वेश्चंस आपको एग्जाम में डायरेक्ट नहीं होंगे, विच विल नॉट बी बेस्ड ऑन सब्जेक्ट मैटर या कि कंटेंट. आपसे पूछा ऐसे सवाल जाएगा जिसमें आपकी थिंकिंग एबिलिटी को भी देखा जाए कि आप कैसे इस कंक्लूजन तक पहुंचते हैं और उसको लॉजिकली कैसे जस्टिफाई करते हैं. सो मेरा अपना मानना ये है कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है इस एग्ज़ाम के प्रिपरेशन के लिए, स्पेशली इन ह्यूमैनिटीज सब्जेक्ट्स एंड जनरल स्टडीज़, कि आप आंसर्स को लिखने की प्रैक्टिस करें. राइटिंग आंसर्स इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट आई वुड से. इफ आई हैव टू गिव वन टॉपिक, that please do not confine only to reading. Start writing answers as a practice. The students must understand that whatever you may have knowledge, the examiner is not reading your knowledge. He is reading your answer. So whatever knowledge you may have, you have to reproduce in written words in the paper. And therefore, no matter how much you know, your ability to communicate yourself through the written word on a piece of paper is what is the skill that is they're looking for. So please practice as much as you can on the written word. Write on paper what you want to say. It was 1994, I think the result came out sometime in June or around that time. I was in Jamshedpur working with the Tatas. I used to live in a bachelor's hostel, company provided. In those days, there was no cell phone, so I distinctly remember one messenger had come, knocked on the door and conveyed that the results have come out and you have got 40th rank. Frankly speaking, I was not expecting a rank of 40. I was expecting much lesser, some around 200 or 300. And I felt elated, no doubt I felt elated. In those days there was no phone, so in the night I took the STD booth call and rang up my parents. Shortly after then I resigned from the Tata Motors, and there was a series of farewells I remember in Jamshedpur that my friends and colleagues had given me. I had come back to Delhi. There was this short hiatus of 2-3 months before I joined the Mussoorie Academy. Those days were fun because you were in a celebratory mood. You are also in a celebrity mood because so many people ask you about how you prepared and what are the results, and the paper, your photographs come out in paper and things like that. And then you slowly come to the fact that you have to join an academy. When you join the academy, there are two kinds of students there. For whose this is the first job. They've never done a job before. And the second are those people like me who had done a job before. I had worked for 3 years already. It was a great expectation, and with a lot of hope and aspiration and expectation, people reached Mussoorie Academy. This was 4th September 1994, and then the journey begins. My message to aspiring people who are wanting to give the exam, so I want you people to read as widely as possible. On many subjects, there will be multiple points of view. You should read all the views so as to make up your mind on what is the truth and what should be your truth. Then think clearly. There will be multiple views on any matter. In many cases, there is no one right view or wrong view. Whatever your view, you should be able to then logically justify why you reached this view. And you should be able to communicate clearly in the written word for the exam and for the interview orally. Your written communication is very, very important for clearing the mains, and your oral communication is equally important for getting good marks in the interview. I hope the aspiring students and the people who are preparing for the exam find some use from these words that I spoke. Thank you for watching.